The NBA draft is always an interesting event to follow because, for months on end, the top analysts and experts spend so much time trying to figure out who the best players in the draft are and where they rank compared to the other prospects. Yet, every single year, there are numerous players that slip through the cracks and drastically outperform how they were expected to play coming in. These players always had the talent and capability of being good NBA players, but sometimes it's tough to monitor so many players so they fly under the radar. In that case, they become what I like to call hidden gems, which is the topic of today's video. Today, we'll be talking about 6 players that I believe fit this hidden gem label and will probably make a big impact on an NBA team and outperform their draft spot. Before we get started though, make sure to subscribe to the channel as all support is very much appreciated and there's plenty more NBA and draft content on the way. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first hidden gem I want to discuss is Darius Baisley, who had quite an interesting road to the NBA draft. Coming out of high school, he was a highly touted 5-star recruit being sought after by many of the top programs in the country. He eventually gave a verbal commitment to Syracuse, however that didn't last very long. Baisley really didn't have much interest in college basketball, so after thinking long and hard about it, he decommitted and chose instead to join the G League for a year, getting paid while being in an NBA development program. Then, as if this story couldn't get any crazier, he changed his mind again, and instead of joining the G League, he chose not to play any organized basketball all year long and instead spent the time training for the NBA draft on his own. By doing so, he quickly fell off the radar from NBA scouts, which, when you think about it, was bound to happen. If you're not playing on a consistent basis in front of the public so people can see your game, you're destined to be forgotten about. However, for the first time in many months, scouts got to see Baisley's game when he took full part in the NBA Draft Combine, where he really impressed in both the drills and the full-court 5-on-5 scrimmages. As a power forward, he brings the exact kind of versatility that teams love from the position in today's NBA, possessing great ball handling ability and speed, allowing him to take a rebound and immediately push the ball in transition in a similar way to Pascal Siakam. His jump shot has also shown a ton of improvement, and his overall athleticism is super promising for an NBA forward. His biggest need at the moment is to put on some strength, as he is still a bit skinny and worries about him being bullied by stronger opponents are valid, but most players like him have been able to bulk up on an NBA workout and diet plan, and I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do the same thing. I see him as first-round talent easily, yet it's almost guaranteed that his name won't be called until round 2, so whoever takes him will be in for quite a pleasant surprise. The next hidden gem that I want to discuss is Phil Booth, a point guard out of Villanova. Booth has the best winning pedigree in the entire draft, having won not only 1, but 2 national championships in his time at Villanova, and he played a fairly big role in both of them. Back in 2016, he was Villanova's 6th man and came off the bench in the championship game and dropped 20 points to pace the Wildcats all night long. Then, in 2018, he was a starter and played a vital role as a secondary playmaker and 3-point shooter on the wing. Last year, he finally got to be the go-to guy who ran the offense as the team's senior leader, and he broke out as a serious talent. This very easily could have been a down year as a transition period between recruiting classes for this Villanova team, but Booth's breakthrough pushed them to win the Big East yet again and win a March Madness game. NBA teams tend to devalue upperclassmen in the draft, even though every year, especially at the point guard position, these guys earn big roles in NBA rotations. Jalen Brunson did so last year with the Mavericks, Fred VanVleet has done so with the Raptors, who are on the verge of a championship, and countless others have as well. Booth's game is very mature and his IQ is very high when it comes to making plays both for himself and others, and he holds his own on defense. He probably won't get picked until near the end of the draft, if at all, but I'm confident that he'll make more of an impact than someone who's younger and less ready, but has more value because of supposed upside. Next up on this list of hidden gems is Kyle Guy out of Virginia. Assuming you've all watched the college championship game this year and March Madness in general, you would know that Virginia took home the chip this year, and Guy played a big role in helping them do so. He's one of the best sharpshooters in the entire draft, yet there's a decent chance he might not even get drafted at all. The concerns about him are with his size, being only 6'2" for a combo guard, and that he's not strong enough to defend the average NBA player. However, there are so many other things that he brings to the table, and floor spacing and a knockdown jumper will always impress. He shot 43% from 3 last year on 7 attempts per game, which is tremendous, and he does so in a variety of ways. He's one of the hardest workers on the court, never stops moving on or off the ball, and is anything but afraid of the moment, having knocked down countless big shots for Virginia. Plus, he has great leadership skills, and those two things go a long way in the pros. How you handle yourself matters, and when you look at a guy like TJ McConnell, who was doubted in a similar fashion, yet has carved out a role for himself in the league, there's no reason why Guy can't do the same. Next up on this list of hidden gems is Bol Bol out of Oregon. Bol Bol is the famous son of former NBA player Manute Bol, and is no stranger to the spotlight. Coming out of high school, he was a 5-star recruit and ranked as the 4th best player in the class by ESPN. He was headed towards stardom on both on and off the court, and was doing plenty to prove his worth early on in his Oregon career. Through 9 games, he was averaging 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game, putting on a clinic on both ends of the floor. Additionally, his 3-point shot looked very good in those games, and a 7'2", rim-protecting 3-point shooting center is awfully hard to come by, so it appeared as though he was all set to be a lottery pick. Then, he suffered a foot injury that ended his season, and because of it, his stock has dropped a ton. He already wasn't the fastest player in the world, and the worry is that it will hamper his already limited mobility, and it's now more likely that he'll be picked near the end of the first round. The thing is though, that if he makes a full recovery and eventually gets back to being the player that he was, he absolutely has lottery talent, and could become a big-time player in the league. It's very boom or bust with him, but whichever team takes a chance on him late in the draft could find the biggest hidden gem of them all. Next up on this list of hidden gems is Dylan Windler out of Belmont. Windler flew under the radar basically all season long because, well, he plays for Belmont. Mid-major programs in lesser-known conferences don't necessarily draw the same level of attention as the power conferences, but Windler put up tremendous numbers all season long. He averaged 21 points and 11 rebounds as a wing player, which is pretty crazy to think about, and he also shot the ball incredibly efficiently at 54% from the field and 43% from 3 on high volume. This production even translated into March Madness, where in Belmont's only game, he scored 35 points and showed off his entire arsenal of moves against Maryland. At 6'8", he can get his shot off over defenders from anywhere on the floor, and is barely fazed by contests. He's a sneaky good athlete and underrated ball handler, and he shoots off the dribble comfortably. Despite his solid all-around game and high IQ, he's only projected to be a second-round pick, but I know he'll be able to show NBA teams that he can make a difference immediately if given the opportunity. Finally, the last hidden gem on this list is Jordan Bone out of Tennessee. Bone was a junior this past season, and this was the year where he broke out and became a reliable contributor on a very good Tennessee team. Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield got most of the attention on the team, being the 2 leaders, but Bone was exceptional in more ways than one. As the point guard of the team, he initiated the offense and was the primary playmaker of the group, averaging 6 assists per game, which is pretty solid for a college guard. He has a fairly balanced offensive game, and his best go-to move is his pull-up jumper, but his ball handling is also excellent, and his speed and agility blow you away. In fact, at the draft combine, he tested historically well in the speed and agility drills, having the best speed in almost all of them, while also posting 42-inch vertical leap. That kind of speed and athleticism compares to some of the fastest guys in the league now, like De'Aaron Fox, John Wall, and Ben Simmons. Bone, like most of the other players on this list, is only going to be a second-round pick at best this year, but he has natural gifts that can't be taught, and with his game on the court improving every season, I can absolutely see him making a name for himself in the NBA. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more NBA videos coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.